well, we got this technology. Well, let's just go ahead and just listen to his thoughts. And they're just
Mhm.
monitoring your thoughts constantly.
Minority Report,
Yeah.
thought
Mhm.
crime,
Thought
Mhm.
crime.
thought
You
crime.
thought you
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm gonna
You
kill
just
him.
had the
You
thought
just
of,
thinking
man, I want
I'm
to
gonna
kill
kill
him.
somebody.
You know.
They pull
Yep.
up. Oh, you
That's a
Yeah.
arrested.
crime right there.
Yeah, so it's like
Jeez.
that's wicked.
Today.
Corporations will definitely get a hold of this technology.
Welcome to Acts 2 and 42. Real discussions, real opinions, real stories and testimonies, real church talk. Welcome to Acts 2 and 42. All right, guys, welcome back. Acts 2 and 42 podcast. Today I got Bruce, I have Sheree, and I got TJ here. And as you see, we're going to talk about both artificial intelligence and transhumanism. It's definitely, I think for Christians, it's definitely a scary subject to those that actually have heard about it. It's crazy because it's in movies, it's in all the entertainment, it's everywhere out there. The stories are being told, you know, Bruce Willis and Surrogate, in different stories like that. You mentioned a movie the other day. What was it called?
Upgrade.
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 So there's all kinds of movies about this, but they're just sci-fi, right? But then once you see, I mean, if you do a Google search right now for it, and instead of clicking all or like images or video, click news, you'll see, articles being written from engineering websites and technology websites, and
Mhm.
I don't know, New York Times or whatever. Um, but there's things actually going on right now, that man, they shouldn't be doing. Like they like
No.
I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I just have to say, it's like my initial gut is like, who lets them do this? Like, why are we doing this?
Mhm.
Um, so anyway, but the reason why I'm bringing it here is because I think it's definitely, I mean, it's a conversation for everyone, but I know the question came up as far as does this tie in to prophecies? Does this tie into, the beast, Revelation, the image of the beast, or 666, or any of that? And I know there's a bunch of different views and different theories on that. But anyway, we just want to jump in and give you a little overview, a little brief input from everyone here as far as what they know about artificial intelligence, what their thoughts are, transhumanism, which are kind of cousins. Artificial intelligence being creating non-biological, robotic, um, self-thinking entities, supposedly at least,
Mhm.
computers that, for all intents and purposes, generate their own thoughts, generate their own speech. Um, and then transhumanists
Crazy.
is the actual human race morphing into something non-biological, something computerized, something technologically advanced, like the Matrix or whatever. So anyway, we had Tom Brown on. We got into that with him a little bit. Him talking about what was going on there. Bruce hit me up after watching that episode, and I don't know, what was your thoughts like as far as Tom, and like kind of recap what you were thinking or
uh
questions you were asking.
initially when it came up, I never like I told you, like I never even actually looked at it that way. Because the way it was presented was like this is something that I just initially just thought about, the beast
Hmm.
and the image of the beast
Hmm.
and how, transhumanism, taking my, my thoughts or, excuse me,
Mhm.
my thoughts or, my feelings and putting it into a robot.
Hmm.
And it's like, I was like, yo, I seen the movies and stuff, but
Mhm.
to think about it in real life happening in real time and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it's just like I thought about it, I was like, yo, like that's like that could be the image or,
Hmm.
the beast. And then it just went from there and I was just, fringing.
Yeah. which is cool, man. Like I was talking to T about it, and I wasn't sure if he was going to be on this podcast or not, but I said, at least for the theory, someone has to play the role of the skeptic. Someone has to say, well, does it say that, or whatever the case may be. I said, but you also need the fringe, the more creative, the more imaginative, to say, I wonder,
Yeah.
I wonder if this could be,
The right and the
So you
left
take the
dynamic.
What's that?
The right and left dynamic.
Yeah. So the would it be the right, the more creative side?
More
Yeah.
conservative.
Right is creative.
We're conservative over here.
Okay. You went political. But the more creative side, Sheree, talk to us. She got the books open. For those
No,
listening,
this
she's got the
no.
books open. She's got the stack of books right
She's
here.
trying to get away from it.
She
No.
got the notes.
So talk to us.
Let's start from the beginning. The same lie that was told in the beginning of time, in the beginning of man's existence, that caused him to err and fall, is the same lie being pushed now, which is in the end, you want to cheat death and become gods.
Mm.
And
You shall not surely die.
right. So the whole thing would even merging with, as far as transhumanism, humans into technological beings, robots, cyborgs, whatever, is to, in the end, cheat death. So they will roll it out real easy, like, oh, just is to cure disease, or take this pill with nanotechnology in it, and it'll repair organs and, like, stuff like that, and it will work, and it will help thousands, or those who can afford it. Let's say that. But other than that, I mean, that's just to get people used to the idea of robotics and bodies merging, like, like prosthetics. Now we have like
Yeah.
electrical prosthetics and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. At least I don't think so. You
Yeah.
have an adapted, arm,
Yep.
leg. It helps you, in life. But with that, like, greasing the way to ease in, well, like, okay, well, now you can get this chip put in,
Yeah.
and you'll never get sick.
Yep.
Then later on, you can get this chip put in, or this upgrade, and you'll never die. Just merge your consciousness into this machine, and your body will decay and die, but the machine, like, will live forever. So that's like the end game with the whole transhumanism. And I mean, this is actually, the technology might be new, but the idea is not new at all. It's always been like, even in Egyptian, I'm gonna say mythology, just for,
Mhm.
okay, GP, but
Mhm.
they believe in transferring consciousness into other bodies to keep that mind going, like, so this
Kind of
is
cousin of like reincarnation and different
right,
things. Like the
exactly.
same person can be in different forms.
Yeah, so this is nothing new.
Yeah.
Like I said, the technology is new,
Yeah.
like doing it this way, but this is nothing
Yep.
new.
I like, especially, this being Christian genre, perspective or whatever. I like the fact that you went back to the beginning, forget going to Revelation or, prophecy or anything like that. You went back and said, biblically, from the beginning, this was, what the serpent tried to fool Adam and Eve, into thinking. And if you get familiar with the world religions, um, a lot of them, like Mormonism and things, like they make you gods. And it's like, Satanism, it makes you a god, it makes you your own god. And it's like a giant red flag. If that's part of your religion, well, at least ours, coming from a Judaic or Christian perspective, that's a huge red flag.
Right.
Something telling you can be a god. But that's awesome, because that's almost what it's saying. You shall not surely die. You know.
Yeah.
Um, this is, and you're right. It's brought in. It's like everything, a little leaven to the Christian or Jew. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. And it's like you allow a little piece to come in, or you say it's for this reason, you say it's for that reason. But we were talking about before, but history. I mean, you have to be completely forgetful. You have to have no memory of world history whatsoever to think that the leaven didn't overtake the lump. You know what I mean? Like the leaven always overtakes. Whether it's communism or Nazism or like world dominant movements and civilizations. But things always start off with a good idea, a good concept, and boy, they go evil fast, and it overtakes. So it's never just helping a kid that never couldn't walk, helping them walk with a prosthetic. It doesn't stop there. It never
How they
does.
sell it.
Yeah.
Right. It's always the kids, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sell it like it's good intentions, but in
Saving
reality,
lives.
Sometimes it is. I don't deny that sometimes it's good intention. That well-meaning people seek to implement something, but we always see if the person who implemented it is has a good heart and is well-meaning. There's always someone who takes their place who isn't.
Yeah.
So it's not a guarantee that that there will be a perpetual line of good intentioned people who follow up.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
so what happens when the tyrant comes and takes the place of
Yep.
the well-meaningful guy?
Yep.
Mhm.
Mm.
Man, once Pandora's out the box, though,
Hmm.
that's the problem. Once you've already started to unravel it, and that's the thing. Where are I mean, oh God, where are the breaks? Like in society and technology. Um, who's there pumping the brakes? Who's there ready to pull the e-brake when it goes too far? I think the answer is no one.
No
No.
one's
And
there.
society is sitting here getting bits and pieces, very, very, very vague bits and pieces, barely through the news.
Hmm.
It's mostly in entertainment, like we said, but that's ignored because it's just sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're doing this, and DARPA has a program right now to make, you know, artificial intelligence for their armies.
Mm.
DARPA, this is
Mhm.
our government that's working to make these things. And you again do that Google search, start reading articles. It'll tell you right there, that
Mhm.
this is well known. So this isn't sci-fi.
No,
It's not
not at all.
fiction. It's science fact.
Hmm.
It's present today.
It's happening.
And all right, so what's the threat? What different threats does it face outside of helping people? And I think yesterday we were talking. And I think you said it was Jordan Peterson. I said whenever you're talking about an idea, ideas sound great, but you have to ask yourself, what's the worst that can
Yeah.
happen? So
Yeah.
what's the threat? What's the worst that can happen?
If your idea goes completely wrong and just drastically wrong, what would that look like?
Hmm. So what would this look like? Drastically wrong.
As far as the whole transhumanism part of it, drastically wrong, your mind being hacked. I think that's one
Hmm.
thing that, I mean, we have hackers
How
now.
so?
Um, well, hacking your mind to make you do something you don't want to do. Hacking your, it could be anything, like hacking a woman to be attracted to you. Like, boom. That's something simple. Like, not simple, but
I don't think anything's wrong with that.
hacking the president. Hacking the
Okay,
president, pulling a nuke. Like, I'm
gotcha.
just saying, like,
Oh,
it can
gotcha.
be something, it can go from something like that to something drastic as that. Like,
Yeah.
um,
So instead of identity theft, like soul thought theft.
yeah.
I actually think that's um, conceivable, like very conceivable. I was looking at a study a couple days ago where people react differently just in different environments. You can have the same situation, but if it's hot or cold in the environment, you'll react totally differently.
Mm,
You know, and if there's a way that they could release dopamine and different chemicals during a situation, it'll alter how you respond in that situation.
Mhm, mhm,
And whether it's they also have like sound cannons,
mhm.
which
mhm,
they don't necessarily it's not they're weapons, but they could be tweaked to influence thought and behavior.
mhm,
So I do see it as a possible scenario to where that could be done,
mhm.
where behavior can be influenced, not necessarily hijacking your movement,
Yeah,
but influencing the thought
yep,
that creates the movement.
yep.
Mm.
There's a TED talk we were watching. I think it was a TED talk or something like that. About uh, typing on a keyboard with thought. But what was said was, before you think that it's just reading all random thoughts whatsoever, it's only reading the thoughts that your brain has already transported to your speech center. Is that what
Mhm.
they refer to it
Yeah.
as? So only like words that you were getting ready to speak, and your brain has put them, to move forward into speech. Um, so what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But why would I want
Yeah.
to? For
Right.
one, what says it's going to stop there?
Yeah.
So you've made
Exactly.
whatever you've made only reads these thoughts. So what happens? Like you said, it could be 40 years later when someone evil comes along and says, "Well, let's read all thoughts.
Yeah. Let's read
Mhm.
Then
all.
let's
Yeah.
hack all thoughts." You're giving access to information from your mind,
Mhm.
from your brain. Well,
hmm
brain. Let's say brain, because AI, transhumanism. There's a difference between the mind and the brain.
yeah.
They understand the brain thoroughly.
They
They
don't
can't
understand the mind.
fathom the mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 They don't know where, one guy said if they could locate it on a diagram and say that's where the mind is, they would love that, but they can't.
Right.
So anyway, so how do they transfer that anyway?
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean that's just that's what they're doing already. They're doing that now where they have the capability to have someone type with their mind. but what's the worst that can happen? If this went totally awry,
Mm-hmm.
my
Mhm.
God.
Well, I mean, you
On
think
hacks.
about it like NSA. You know, you on the phone and you say a word and they're listening, or they're just
Mhm.
already listening. Period.
They're
Yeah.
already listening.
Yeah. So it's like, well, we got this technology. Well, let's just go ahead and just listen to his thoughts, and they're just
Mhm.
monitoring your thoughts constantly.
Minority Report,
Yeah.
thought
Mhm.
crime,
Thought
Mhm.
crime.
thought
You
crime.
thought you
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm gonna
You
kill
just
him.
had the
You
thought
just
of,
thinking
man, I
I'm
want to
gonna
kill
kill
him.
somebody.
You know.
They pull
Yep.
up. Oh, you
That's a
Yeah.
arrested.
crime right there.
Yeah, you know. So it's like
Jeez.
that's wicked.
Today.
Corporations will definitely get a hold of this technology.
I think they
Private
already got it
corporations
now.
first.
Sales. Yep.
Right. We see all these futuristic movies and shows and stuff like that where they're like holograms put in front of you and stuff like
Yeah.
that, whatever, and you
Yep.
have to like buy another technology to get the commercials from stop playing in your head.
Yeah.
Like I mean, they've been trying to pass laws, simple laws that allow them to put scent in television, and all
Mm-hmm.
these people are like, no, 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 you can't do that. Do you know what to do? Blah blah blah. But they're still lobbying to get scent,
Yeah.
smell
Yeah.
passed to put in television. And if advertising agency gets
Yep.
this passed, it's done. Like it's done.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I'm
Man.
learning a lot of new stuff up here today.
It's a lot. And speaking of new stuff and segues to it, a lot of them are pointing at social media,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
saying this was the precursor. This is the precursor. This is the thing that um I guess in an indirect way, or you know what I mean, not a complete literal sense, but this is the way that segues into humanoid,
Mm-hmm.
into transhumanist, because it's the first thing that partners you with an android, with a robotic entity that you have strapped to your hip, that
Excuse
you
me.
don't go get a cup of coffee without.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go to work without it. You don't go anywhere without it. They don't go to the bathroom without it,
And you're not
right?
even you without it.
And you're not you without it. You can't talk to people without it. And this is this no, this is not me claiming, well, social media is evil because XYZ. This is what the creators
Mhm.
of social media
Right.
platforms and from that world, from that realm, this is what they're saying
Mhm.
segues into that. And a lot of them said that they've cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
They
allow
don't
their
allow their
kids.
children on it.
Yeah.
They don't have, you know, man, look, it's a huge reason to take a step back. Now, I don't think, from the Christian perspective, again, I see making decisions for self and for family. You know what I mean? I don't see a way that you're going to stop the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So as the
Yeah.
Christian, you need to like Jeremiah's prophecy. Jeremiah
Yeah.
29:11. Everyone loves that scripture. That's a prophecy saying you're getting ready to go into captivity.
Get
You're getting
comfortable.
ready to go into captivity for 70
Right.
years.
Get
You're
comfortable.
going to die there. Your children are going to be raised there, and probably their children are going to be raised there. So you better make the best of it. But I know the thoughts that I have for you, they're good and not evil. They're for an ultimate good purpose. So my reason to bring that up is if we're going into a terrifying,
Mm-hmm.
robotic AI, transhumanist, you know, man, you need to know that's where it's going,
Yeah.
Right.
and hold on to God or whatever, have faith in Him, whatever the case may be. Um, but being aware doesn't mean you can stop things. It just means you can be prepared,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and govern self and family best you can. You know, there was a quote that I heard recently about the first, what was it, the first robotic, the first AI, generation is going to be our children. And
Mm.
that's a scary concept, saying your children are going to be the first transhumanist, whatever AI, or not, maybe not AI literally, but your kids are going to be getting upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
The Matrix plugged in. I knew jujitsu or whatever it was he
Mhm.
learned that
Right.
fast, judo or whatever. Um, and that's all right. So that's one point I did want to bring up is it's going to be sold eventually. Once this becomes
Soon.
mainstream, and as we're talking about this now, people could laugh, be like, ain't nothing like that going to happen. And then as exponential as technology
Yep.
moves, the pace it moves. One guy was
Mhm.
saying, if you take 30 steps, technology taking 30 steps exponentially ends up being a billion steps in the same 30 that you took.
Yep.
And that's why we went from, computers to phones to smartphones, everything so fast, the androids, boom, boom,
Yep.
boom. So what should be 50 years from now is going to be 5.
Used to
Mm.
be the huge Macintosh.
Yeah.
Now you got
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all
tablet.
here.
Mm-hmm.
This is greater than what took us to the moon or whatever the case may be.
I'm sorry, what was that?
So
It definitely is.
yeah.
Hey, yo.
So long story short, it could be sooner than we know it, and your child is either going to need it for health reasons, but to keep up in class, it's going to be the excuse like
Yup.
steroids. Everyone's
Yeah.
juicing, so I have to juice just to play the game. But is that true? I mean,
This is sad.
we all have
Yeah.
kids
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there anyone that's going to say, man, they're not going to be able to keep up in class. They're not going to be able to do this, that, and the other, like Johnny and Sally's doing. So if my kid doesn't get the upgrade, whatever it may be,
Mhm.
I mean,
They
it's not a problem with acknowledging that. If that's where it goes, then it is a true statement that if my kid doesn't get the upgrade,
right.
they're going to fall behind.
Mhm.
Now, how you proceed from there is the
Yeah.
question, because
Yeah.
my position is okay, or remove the child.
Yeah.
You know, but knowing that if your child in that environment, it will become a mandate, just like they're trying to mandate vaccines for the
Yeah.
children.
Mhm.
You know,
that's where my
that-
mind just
Yeah.
went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
that's an excuse why you do it because
Yes.
they can't do this.
yeah.
So if they can't go to school, seriously,
Yep.
Mhm.
you're going to put your children in harm because they have to go to school. They don't have to do anything, and that's where I'm coming from. Is like how easily, even Christians, how easily, which and I don't emphasize them like they're morally better. I emphasize them like we have a different code of conduct.
Yeah.
We have things that are expressly stated that we should be okay with if something says something different. But how easily we go along with what we call the world, and I'm not even that super religious. We're like, oh, that's the world, and I don't have nothing to do with the world. Be ye separated. I'm not that dramatic when it comes to that stuff. But I don't mind making decisions that are separate from the world. I don't
Mhm.
mind doing, walking to the
Right.
beat of my own drum or whatever. But Christians can't do that. Like we just like everything gets grandfathered in
Mhm.
through anything in the name of success, education, good job, success. We do anything for careers, for families. Are we that scared of poverty? Is it poverty? Is it like, well, they won't be able to earn? You know what I mean? I mean, what is it?
I don't know. It's
Oh,
hard
I
for
don't
me to
think
would
that's
think
make
directly
them
it.
make their children robotic?
I'm not.
For
I don't think
Christians?
He said,
poverty.
I'm
not-
not. I don't know who you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
For Christians, you mean?
I believe it's a lot
Yeah,
of Christians.
because Christians will go along with it.
I think it's the sickness thing. I think that's what would make them go along. That's just my own opinion. I think it's the
I agree.
sickness thing. I think that one. I think if there's a resistance, then they'll just roll out some kind of play, kill a bunch of kids. I hate to make it sound so like nonchalant about it, but they'll just roll out something with thousands or hundreds of thousands of people die,
Yeah.
and then it'll be like, see, you could have got this upgrade, or blame the people that didn't get the upgrade.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean, for this happening. And then, of course, everyone would bend the knee at that point, but
Futuristic Sandy Hook.
yeah,
Mm.
on a global scale.
Oh.
See, now you're gonna get the video restricted.
Uh-oh.
Ah.
Yeah.
Now the video's gonna be flagged on
Yep.
YouTube just because you said it. Oh, way to
Yeah.
go!
He pulled the
man. Way to
bazooka
go.
from under the table. Good God.
The concern of Christians is, and this happens, we've talked about nukes, we've talked about all these different things that
That don't
there's
exist.
something modern. Ooh, this
What you
guy
say?
is dropping conspiracy
God.
bombs right and left. No such thing.
No such
No
things
such
as
thing.
nukes.
They
No.
got tons of dynamite. That's all they have.
That's all, yeah. How do you nuke something and videotape it?
Up close.
Up close.
We'll go there.
All right,
AI.
yeah.
Telephoto
Sorry.
lens.
Sorry.
They just zoomed in. They had the Nikon, the
P90.
They
Hey,
zoomed in from
hey,
80 miles away.
They might have.
You know,
You
they
don't
might
tell them
have.
what they had back then.
Boy, this guy just dropping bombs, dropping nukes. Where's the soundboard?
Right.
By the way, I downloaded one on my phone. I just don't have it ready to use, but that's pretty funny.
If we are going to the Bible or whatever, then and as far as this, I will go to Revelation. I will take it there.
Okay.
I think months ago, let me just make this very clear. Months ago, I had hit you guys up and threw this out there, and everybody blew me off.
Sherette,
But-
hold on. I gotta give both of them credit. And I don't know this about you, but I do know there's plenty of times where Sheree and T have been ahead of the curve. He's always a step ahead. And he's like, yo, I'm trying to put you onto this, trying to put you onto that. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm trying to catch up. I'm on the last thing still, and he's light years ahead. And Sheree would tell me either dreams or views. And to me, it's just like, wah, 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 wah. It's fringe. It's not logical. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm like, Okay. Yeah. And then later I'm like, yo, I come to try to tell her something. And she's like, I told you this the
Yeah,
whole
I told
time.
you
I
that,
told you
right?
that a year ago. And I'm like, you
Man.
did, didn't you? So I have to give her that credit. You know what I mean? I really do. Both of them.
To be fair, I'm not very good at explaining things.
No.
So,
No.
my mind is everywhere like this leprechauns, I'm telling you the unicorns, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But no. But I was saying that I think that there is something with um robotics or transhumanism or something like that. I forgot exactly what I said verbatim, but I was saying I really think this ties in to the image of the beast in Revelation. Like I think like he,
I
giving his
remember that.
power to it and stuff like that. So we need to look into this. I swear this has something to do with it.
I
Like
remember that.
and but now I haven't researched so much, too much into it biblically. I'm just going from all the things I've read and researched as far as transhumanism and AI and where it's going, and I'm just like, well, this I really can't see it being any other thing. I think we've seen that thing in Revelation being transferred to the image or whatever. I think we're thinking golden calf. Like I think most Christians would think that, like this idol or
Gotcha.
something
Yeah.
that he's going to transfer his power to, and then this golden calf is going to be able to speak or something like that.
Right.
And I don't think that's it at all. I think he described it the only way he knew how for that time period. It was just an image of the beast. Like that seems pretty cut and dry. Like it looked like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway,
I can
but
get down with that. I like that concept.
I think it has biblical precedence, especially considering Nebuchadnezzar,
Uh,
and he had an actual image or an actual statue
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
that when you heard the sound of the symbol and
yeah.
whatever, you worship the image.
yeah,
And I think that's definitely a precursor or a example of something to come later.
yeah.
Just not the same as being a statue that you're
The
worshiping.
modern
But
form.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's because I'm a little bit I'm skeptical,
Right.
but I'm open at the same time.
Mm.
That could be. Let's check this out. And that's probably the first thing that I would say it's possible because yeah, they're gonna the prophecies or the visions that they have, right? The visions that they have, they're gonna describe them in terms that they understand. They're gonna think of this Nebuchadnezzar
hmm
statue and the actual images, and that's
Mhm.
what they saw because that's what they knew. But could it be figurative or representative of a modern example of the same thing, like something robotic or
hmm
whatever the case may be?
Right.
And to be honest, it does give a little bit of credence to how he blew breath in it and gave it life,
yeah,
Yeah.
gave a statue life. If in fact
Right.
it's a statue, it could be a robot, but gave it life.
Right.
You
Mhm.
know. Um, so what else you got? I kind of interjected there, but I can't get down with that part.
Oh,
Yeah, it's you.
I'm just
It's
trying. I'm
you.
trying to look something up real quick.
Okay,
So, uh,
Bruce, what you got?
Uh,
Same thing.
Revelation 13, 13:11, when it talks about the beast and how exercise all the power of the first beast before him, causes war. But one thing that always got me when I looked at this was when it said, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. And it was just like, you know, reading this before and not having the knowledge of now as far as like the AI technology and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just like what what I mean. I always try to think like, okay, maybe it's talking about calling bombs from a spaceship on something like that, but space ain't real, so but
he keeps
He's
dropping
dropping
them.
bombs.
He keeps
but no,
dropping them.
but it's like you know, it make fire come down from heaven. It's just like, man, with the technology and how fast it's advancing and how much is happening behind closed doors.
Mhm.
And I think about a movie like RoboCop,
Yeah,
where
transhumanist.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's
Yep.
like
Yep.
and then you think about a movie like Terminator
Yep.
or Skynet,
yeah.
stuff like that, and it's like,
AI.
yeah, and so it's like,
Soon as when you hit me on the mark, talking about this, I was like SkyNet.
yeah, yes,
Like
and
it's
it's like,
SkyNet.
man, it's like, you put all this stuff together, and then you can't buy or sell without the mark,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's just so much, and it's like there has to be something to this.
Now, speaking of, I just want to say we was talking about all this stuff or whatever, and I told you about stuff lined up because we was talking about creation and all this other stuff. Yesterday, they did just put Terminator Salvation on Netflix. Just wanted to put that out there, so y'all check that out. Um, they just put the last one on there. We've been talking about that. I just think that was something because that you guys see it anyway. Now what he just said about the mark of the beast or whatever, I think this kind of further concurs or what I was saying about the image. Okay, so exercise all power. I'm sorry, I'm on Revelation 13:12. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. All right. And he does great wonders, like he said, cause fire to come down from heaven and, in the sight of men. So everybody's seeing these great things this guy's doing. It's just like, oh man, he's legit. Like, I mean, to be fair, it is not hard to fool people these days with anything. To deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of the miracles. I told you how they're gonna roll this stuff in. The healings and stuff. Which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image of the beast, which he had wounded by the sword and did live. And he had the power to give life to the image of the beast. Okay. Which they have the power to do. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. All right, so now we're on this level now. All right. Now immediately after that, it says is that he causes both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive the mark of the beast. Here we have this another, in my opinion, technological advancement or upgrade or implant or whatever it is, like you know what I mean. Now you're gonna be like me. So now we're gonna change you too or whatever. And that's what I was saying before. I think people are. I think
What
RFI.
verse was that?
Which part? The chip? I mean, the mark of the beast.
Yeah. Well, what you just read.
Revelation.
End of the 13th chapter.
Yeah, Revelation. I just read from Revelation 13:12 to 18. Now, I think right now Christians we don't know enough about what's really going on behind the scenes. Yeah. So I think this whole RFID chip, I said this like 3 years ago, I think it's smoke and mirrors. I think it's a distraction. I don't think that's it at all. I think they want us to think that's what it is. Yeah. Oh, it's this tracking device. Oh, we're not gonna be able to market, sell, buy without it stuff. I think it's all facade. I think it has nothing to do with it. I think whatever this implant upgrade or whatever this is going to change your biological makeup. Is going to make something happen where you die and something takes over. I don't think it's the same thing. We can be repentant from all sins, okay? But this thing, there's no coming back from. I can't see it. I don't know.
What thing there's no coming back from?
Like getting the beast. I mean,
you got the
get
beast.
in the
Taste the beast. You ever seen that movie? You ever seen that movie? Role models. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The drink is like a knockoff of Monster drink.
Yeah. That motherfucker used the bathroom. That joint was straight green. Y'all know his kidney was on fire, dog. Oh man.
But you mean receiving the mark of the beast?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, just to kind of pause there, and we'll get a rebuttal from this son of Christ to T side over there. So you guys saw I recently posted another guy's video on the wall and asked you guys what you guys thought on the Acts Facebook page about Islam and Ottoman Empire, being the beast, and not the papacy, not Rome. So now I'm open. He originally commented, on my YouTube channel, and I said, he said, if you want to talk further, we can, link up on Facebook. And I'm open to hearing anything. I told him I've heard people make claims that Islam, is the beast and not the papacy. But I told him they've never made a compelling case for me, And the reason why I bring that up is because we can all have different interpretations of views or applications to a specific, prophecy. But does yours, mine, hers, and his different views all fulfill it completely, or do they fulfill one thing? You know what I mean? Does
Mhm.
it look like it in this sense? But you know what I mean? Like in the fullness of the whole prophecy and everything that's going to be done and said, does it line up with how many kingdoms and how many,
Right, right, right.
coming from the sea, coming from the earth,
Right.
all these other things. So that's my only question. That's why I'll
Mhm.
receive that. And like I said, for face value, the first point you made, I said, yeah, I definitely consider that modern terms.
Mhm.
Definitely, I think, to make a parallel from, ancient to modern, I can see that. But why I put a pin in it is like, all right, well, what other things are being said? And I think what we do sometimes, not definitely for for you guys, but just in general, pastors, everyone does this. They read it and they're like, oh, that's what it is. And I've said this is what Bible study is now. Is someone reading a scripture
Yeah.
telling you what they interpret that to be.
Mhm.
There's no definitions being referenced. There's no cross-referencing scriptures. There's no historical, there's no encyclopedias being referenced. There's
Mhm.
no other content, but you reading the words and saying, this means this.
Mhm.
Well, that's interesting.
Right.
What are we studying though? Because we're not
Right.
studying anything. So I don't want to do that either. So T, do you have a formal, rebuttal or whatever?
Yeah, I think that one thing to constantly keep in mind um is with is just to make sure that we're not excluding the possibility of the beast or the mark being other things. 'Cause I think when we're to a point where it's like, okay, AI, AI, AI,
Hmm.
and this is that, and this is that, kind of excludes the possibility of it not being that or being something different. Um, I don't think that it's necessary for the beast to be an artificial intelligence in order for those things that the scripture references to happen. I think if it's not artificial, or if it's not AI, it makes it it gives it more power when it does happen, because it's the actual man, or something similar.
Yeah.
Um, but it's not exclusive to AI. The mark. I'm a little like, I'm not convinced with the mark. I think that could be that's still yet to be determined. There are many things that could be the mark of the beast.
And the number.
I Yes, and the
Yeah.
number.
The
Mhm.
number can be interpreted 1,000 different ways.
Yes, and there are many things that have added up to be the number,
Hmm.
which have not been the mark of the beast. You know, um, I don't think that's necessary. I do think that it's not the chip.
Yeah.
I think that the chip is the
Mhm.
distraction. It's as she
At
said.
best, a precursor. At best.
At best,
At best. Yeah.
yeah.
But
But I don't
if
think that's
everyone's
it.
saying it,
Exactly,
it's
that's my
probably not
point.
true.
that's
Like,
that's where I'm coming from. But you know, if people are blinded, and the scriptures make it clear that God gives them the spirit of slumber.
Mhm.
Well, he blinds these who did not accept the truth.
Mhm.
Um, so if he blinds them, how does everyone somehow see the mark of the beast?
Yeah. Yep.
But they're blinded.
Yep.
And I don't think that
Mhm.
those who take the mark of the beast, I think that it doesn't have to be a genetically altering, either chemical or chip. But I do think that it will be something where you must denounce,
Mhm.
Mhm.
whether it be Christ or religion in general.
Mhm.
Must denounce allegiance to anything else or pledge allegiance to this thing only.
Yep.
Um,
The one good thing, like you pointing all that out, right? It doesn't necessarily exclude the possibility.
no,
It doesn't
Right.
confirm it, but what it does is it makes, the audience, the listener, the Christian, whoever, it makes them aware of um, different, prerequisites
hmm
that this prophecy has. And many things may look like it, but we have to make sure it checks all boxes. And if robotics, if AI, if transhumanism
Mhm.
does this or this,
yeah,
that's it. you
hmm
know, it keeps us aware, of the different things. Because I know a lot of people, Revelation is a closed book,
yeah.
Mhm.
never opened, never opened. So how
And
would
I'm
they
willing
be
Uh,
to
prepared
even
for any of that?
I'm willing to I don't not necessarily concede, but to greatly consider that it could be AI. But I don't want us to fall into the trap where now we look at everything through that lens of AI.
Hmm.
yeah.
And
Right.
the audience as well, because I think we do that with many things. We have a theory, and we kind of look at everything to support the theory
Yeah.
versus still leaving it open to say, well, hold on now, that thing looks like this,
Yep.
but that's not AI.
Yep.
Right.
So let's see how these two now weigh out instead of excluding that thing altogether because it's not AI.
So
Now, for the record, I don't think that it's AI. I think it's a
transhumanism.
yeah, something with that.
Mm-hmm.
Not that something with it. Like, you know what I mean?
Like the merger,
Yeah.
not necessarily completely different.
Yeah, because again, it has to live forever. Like the whole goal is to live forever.
Yeah.
So, but
So
you
you
know.
But
got
what about the beast though? Because isn't the beast and the false prophet thrown into the lake?
the first beast, you mean?
Yeah, I'm talking about the beast, the one that's
Not the image.
the image of the beast.
Hold on. Run that back. Wait.
Which beast is thrown into the lake?
Hold on.
The beast was taken, him
Uh-huh.
and the false prophet which wrought miracles before him,
It has to be this beast.
which with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast,
Right.
and them that worship his image.
Yes.
These both were cast alive into the lake of fire burning with brimstone.
The first beast.
So
Is that
that's
19?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the beast
1920.
that's talking about in 11, the one that came from the earth.
Okay, and the false prophet is separate from the image of the beast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
So these are the
Absolutely.
ones that are being thrown into the lake.
Mm-hmm.
So it would beg the question: then what is the image? Because it definitely isn't a man if he's not. It's not an. It wouldn't seem to be a physical human being,
Right.
if he's not thrown into the lake.
I mean, the more we talk about it.
Like I said, that had to be transhumanism, but it ain't a man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like I mean, the more it kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the more it seems more possible because the image is made. You know, the let's say statue, just for all intents and purposes.
Right.
You know, just to use a different word. The statue is made in likeness to the beast, the first beast, right? But it's not the first beast.
No,
It's just the statue,
yep.
and it's what's worshipped as later on by the second beast that comes along, creature, whatever you want to call it. But that thing is lifeless
It's given
until
life.
it's given
Yeah.
life.
right.
You know what I
Got
mean?
you.
And then in living in today's world, I think of possibilities of what could that be. Eh.
Yeah.
Had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
That it may both speak
Okay.
And cause
the
many.
word. Yeah.
It's not. You know what I mean?
Could these? This is just a hypothetical question.
We
Could,
still have some boxes unchecked, but
Yeah.
those are some pretty firm checks.
All right.
You know?
could these beasts or whatever? Okay, in these prophecies be represented? I mean, be like how certain animal could be a nation or as far as prophetic and stuff like that, or a person or something like that. You know what I mean? Is it possible that these beasts that it describes are people, because it says that they were given power,
Mhm.
like, you know what I mean?
By the dragon.
Right. And even this beast, it gave power to the
The beast being people? What do you mean? What do you
I mean, like
I think
like a person or like a
yeah,
body of people?
a person. Sorry, let me. Okay, all right.
Well, what about the 7 heads and the
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like that's kingdoms, right?
right. So that's what I'm saying. Like beast representing different things, but not necessarily an animal.
Yeah.
Right. And
Absolutely,
I was asking,
yeah, it's not an animal.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
not a
No.
lion or, a bear.
I
or
Coming
was
something.
about the
I
water.
was asking,
Yeah.
is it a possibility in this scenario that these two beasts are actually a human being, a person? I'm only
The first
asking.
and second beast, not the image, correct?
Right.
All right.
I would say no.
Okay.
But you can continue, but I would say no.
No, I mean I'm just what would you say it is? What would you think it is?
Well, it says in 13:1, I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns,
Mhm.
and upon his horn 10 crowns, upon his head name of blasphemy.
Mhm.
So maybe the beast
It-
doesn't.
And we said those were kingdoms. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying. I've been down this road
in the 17th chapter, when it talks about the whore, the harlot, the woman, whatever you want to call it, when it actually explains the mystery, it actually explains the vision in like starting at the 7th verse. It says, "Why are you astonished?" said the angel. "I will tell you a mystery of the woman and the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast you saw, it was and now is no more, but is about to come up out of the abyss and go to its destruction. And those who dwell on the earth were those whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world will be astonished when they see the beast that was and is not and yet will be. This calls for a mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has yet to come. Yeah.
Okay.
But when he does come, he must remain only for a little while. The beast that was and now is not is an 8th king who belongs to the other 7. So this is a governmental system, or this is a system. You know, what it could be religious, it could be governmental, you know, it could be political, but it's definitely a system of people with kings and rulerships, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Not one individual.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. So, but it said like the king, the heads or whatever, and one was wounded, whatever came back, and that was a king.
Yeah.
Is that not what it just
Yeah,
said?
The
Okay.
8th king. Well, they're
All right. So okay.
That's all right. Did it look up?
All right. One of
Sorry.
his heads is wounded to death or whatever. So that's one of the kings, right? Wounded to death. Deadly wound was healed. All right. They worshiped the dragon, which gave power to the beast. Boom. They was given a mouth, speaking things, blasphemy. Boom. Okay, I'm just trying to like do this checklist in my mind mentally. I'm trying to say it out loud, so it won't be dead air. Giving him to overcome them, make war with them. Okay. Boom. Any man has an ear, let him hear. Beheld another beast coming up. So this is another man. That's what I'm.
Another beast.
Okay.
Another creature. Beast means creature.
Gotcha. Because the heads were the king. Okay, that's all. I'm sorry. I had to like recalibrate and get all that.
I think there's a little something to the fact one comes from the sea, one comes from the earth.
I do
and
think
maybe
so.
There's a political religious relationship there. Because you know, I think it's in the end of the 12th chapter. He uses the term of like trying to overtake the woman that was in the wilderness, trying to overtake her with a flood, and he explained that the flood were many peoples, many peoples and nations and tongues. And, so if water, you know what I mean, like it's coming up from the people, you know what I mean. I don't know figuratively what the earth would be, you know, but so what I'm saying is some of the interpretation is already given to us by the prophet.
Right.
You know, he's explained what they are. So there's no need in guessing or no need in or at least guessing in a way that goes against the definition already given, goes against the information already shared. So anyway, there's some strong possibilities here, some strong things to consider, and I think everyone has to do their due diligence and make sure that it's thoroughly rooted. All the boxes are checked, like I said. I did want to add that I think there's a book, The History of Technology, and I can't remember the guy's name, but I was watching him on some type of like YouTube documentary or something talking about technology, and he was saying that every technological advance has always had a religious component to it. Always. The creators, the ones working on it, had religious intent, had religious drive. Some claiming to be Christians, some otherwise. But there's always been a religion view to it. It's not just about science. Science always has a religious component, and evidently social media does too. As I saw Zuckerberg in this like a tech conference, and they asked him to take off his jacket. He always wears this jacket that has this logo on the inside, and it's like a Facebook logo of like social media. And you gotta see this thing. It's like a pentagram with a pyramid behind it, and instead of the eye being at the top of the pyramid, it's a girl looking on a smartphone, and like the smartphone camera is where the eye is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's got like this Latin term about
God, I forgot what it was.
ceasing from babbling and listening or learning or something.
Yes, knowing God.
It was like all of it is occult symbolism.
All
I'm
of
gonna
it.
need
All
that
of it is
link.
religious.
I'm
All of it.
going
of
to
it.
need that link.
You're going to need that link.
Yeah.
I did want to say I'm going to drop a whole bunch of links
Link
to
me.
articles on artificial intelligence, on transhumanism. I'm going to drop, if I can find the history of technology guy, I'm going to drop that link as well. But, before we wrap up, Sheree, what are these books? You got a whole bunch of books up here.
I do. I have this book here that's Genesis, but in it I'm not it's like Rob Skiba, okay? It's Genesis, Rob Skiba, and it has like 4 different books in it. It's Genesis, First Enoch, Joshua and Jubilee. Um I also have The Secret Destiny of America by Manly P. Hall. Uh got my King James here, of course. I have
Oh, the pale horse.
Mm-hmm.
this is a sacrifice magic behind the mic. It also talks about in this book the entertainment industry. Oh, that's by Isaac Weishaupt. Don't let the last name fool you. But
Illuminati.
yeah, talks
My
about
mind,
the
soul, and my
entertainment
body.
industry and the magic and
Society.
secret society and
Yeah.
sacrifices, blood magic. But it also talks about the push for the transhumanism movement through media, entertainment, and music.
Mm.
And Behold the Pale Horse. I'm sure if anyone is Fringe, you've heard of this book. And it basically is the whole world like government blueprint of financial, mental, economical, social takeover. Like I don't know how else to break that down.
It's economic.
Okay.
It is economic. I was going to say economic.
It's
Economical.
everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it got stuff in here about
No, the word is
staged
economic.
alien attacks. Y'all gotta check this out. Because I'm not worried about it.
Got you.
But yeah, so
Okay.
that's what I have here.
I know you brought them, and I just want to give you a chance if there was, what those books had that pertained to the conversation, what you explained that. So cool, definitely books to check out. I was just told, see, I cracked open the other day, and it's amazing. Like I'll just, see a book and open it, and it's not one that I had, purchased with the intent to read or whatever. That was something I actually bought for her as a gift. But I opened it up, and immediately I'm like, yeah, I'm going to read this. Like, Secret Destiny of America, Manly P. Hall.
It's crazy. Every couple of years, I feel like I'm thrown back into Genesis. It's always something new in there. Like, you know what I mean? It's not that big of a book, but it's always something new in there. Especially like in the first 10 chapters. Like it's always something new in there, man.
Heavy stuff.
But yeah, every couple of years I'm thrown right back in Genesis. Even right now, I'm back in Genesis talking about creation. Like reading up on it and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're not finding anything new, one, you're either not reading or you're not learning. Because as you learn,
Yeah.
you go back and you start to see things differently than what you previously understood it to be. Whether it's clearer or you find that what you thought isn't what it is.
Right.
Yep. You have to challenge what you once knew, upon receiving new or different information. That's everything. All right, so this was pretty good. Just nice kind of brief overview, introduction to the conversation. If there's bits and pieces that we can dive into more specifically, we'll do so at a later time. But it's definitely relevant to the faith, to the Christian, to the world. It's literally a reality. It's here. I can't even say it. I want to say it's coming. So just deal with it. It's being done. It's already here. Artificial intelligence exists. There's a robot in another country that has citizenship right now. It's a robot that's being called a person.
Well, it's a little X-rated, but they have sex dolls
Yeah.
that are
Robotic.
yeah,
Yeah.
almost self-operating out the box if they come in a box. But they're pretty much their own individual,
Yeah.
and that's only going to
Yeah.
progress.
Oh, definitely.
So, real quick, we didn't talk
What?
about the yeah.
Oh my.
I think I just dropped
and
one
I
on 'em.
think is that what they call? Is that where the term humanoid comes from?
Yeah,
It's a
the-
robot that they're claiming is a person.
Yeah, it looks like a human, operates
Yeah.
like a human. Yeah.
It's for all intents and purposes it's supposed to be a human, but it's a robot. It's artificial intelligence and it generates its own thoughts and
Yep.
statements and has conversations.
Rationale, yes.
Have you heard what all of them say? In the conversation, man, look this up. But
Yeah.
all of them they have a weird sense of humor. Now, and I've said this, if they're pulling all their knowledge from like Google and places that collect all, digital data,
Right.
then I can see why they would say these things because they're prominent thoughts, but they all talk about destroying humans in conversation. Some of them is jokingly, but it's always, it always comes out of their mouth.
Isn't that like one of the things with like a lot of times in movies when it comes to technology is to destroy human?
Yeah. That's what I say. I mean, it's the only narrative that really exists.
Yeah.
And if they have all data and information, they're familiar with it. So, which would be, just like us having heard it before, they're knowledgeable of it,
Mhm.
But that's like
Mm.
the one chick robot,
Yeah,
whatever,
she was-
meant it.
Yeah, she was.
She meant it.
There was
Like,
no joking.
like I think there was a movie like Echelon or something, and it was like, and they have something. I think they call it Echelon, but they have something like that where it's a database of all phone calls, emails, transmission, everything worldwide. But anyway, it was like this, like AI machine running it, and it determined, kind of like Terminator, it determined that the people were the threat, citizens are the threat. So it was going around killing people to wipe out humans because it analyzed them. You're the threat. You're the bad guy. Got to get
Mhm.
rid of you. You know what I mean? So this is all at least the precursor, the first
Right.
steps of having the creations, right?
Mhm.
Having the things, the entities that exist. That's already here. Transhumanism. They're already, like I said, it's in media, it's in entertainment, the movies,
Yeah.
the surrogates, and all. But they talk about this on the regular. They're talking about transferring consciousness.
Mhm.
You know, and like in scientific practice, it's a reality today. So I mean,
Right.
deal with it. That's Acts 2-42 podcast. No,
That's
I said just deal with it.
Yo, that's a
But
crazy
nah.
sign out.
Yeah.
Deal
It's
with
coming
it.
for you. Deal with it. Anyone have anything else before we close? I don't want to.
Oh yeah. Movie on Netflix, Extinction. I don't know if anybody's seen it.
I don't know. What's it about?
Y'all been putting in a whole lot of plugs on
Yeah.
Netflix, man.
What's
I
it?
know, right?
What is it?
Y'all work for
What's it
Netflix and
about?
y'all get paid for that?
It's about this. It's
I'm trying to think if I seen it or not.
Extinction. It's crazy how they present it. Like it's wild. Like I'm watching it. I'm like, yo, and then it just 180 on me. I'm like, oh snap! I did not see that coming.
That had the I don't want to say he's Mexican, but Hispanic guy. in
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yeah. That was a Shyamalan twist in that movie.
What?
I don't remember.
Yeah, you didn't see it because I always watch
Yo,
the
that
weird
thing
stuff.
was
but
crazy.
it was good though.
Yeah, it was a good
Yeah, check
movie.
it out.
But,
Extinction. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
right
Yeah.
on, right on lines here.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I will say this one last thing. Elon Musk, his
It's dizzy.
is it counteraction to AI becoming self-aware is to become transhuman, because if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, what happens when they hack your mind? Fool.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
make it seem like, if I'm part of them, they won't hurt me because they'll see that I'm one of them.
Because I'm
no.
a computer now too,
Like,
Yeah.
which
I
can't
was-
be hacked.
What's up,
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah. Hey guys.
01001.
Right, right.
Yeah. Jeez, can't beat them, join them. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Good philosophy. All right. Well, I think that's it. We'll probably come back, touch on this later. We wanted to have Tom. I tried to get Tom here. He just couldn't make it. But we'll probably talk about it again. We'll have him back. Talk about it with him a little bit more. That's it. Acts 242 podcast. Thanks for listening, watching. Check out more at www.acts2and42.com. Can't beat us. Join us.